Brad, turn your mic on, will you? Oh, good. I didn't want it on in there.
Oh, we are live. It's running.
Hey.
Just yet. Live.
You're talking the mic.
Okay. Oh, we're live. We're waiting for people to join.
Is there anybody out there? Oh.
Yes, I can hear you, Bob. Now I can't see you, though. Oh, now I see you. Welcome, everyone, to the live stream. We are talking about plantar fasciitis in 4 minutes and 10 seconds. Should we just count down the whole time?
Are people listening?
They are.
Oh, welcome. Welcome to the Bob, Brad, and Mike program. This episode, like Mike said, plantar fasciitis.
It's Bob, Brad, and Bald, all right? We went through this.
Oh, yes. Mike has a hair issue, but we're working on that. Also, plantar fasciitis, how to treat it and how to treat it to prevent it as well. We've got stretches, we got strengthening, we got taping. We've got everything over the next hour or so. We'll be answering questions as we can read them, and we got to find out who's watching, where you're from, and if you have any other questions, don't get too personal because we're not very, we're not very good from the neck up, but we do feet. All right. Anything else? Tanner, you're laughing at me.
You should all let us know where you're watching from today.
Yeah.
Because some of the products we're talking about are only in the UK.
Oh, the UK. My goodness. That's a wonderful country. I want to get there someday, definitely. Wisconsin. I love it. Going from my own old hometown. I almost grew up right in the center of the state. I wonder where she's from.
I'm going live on TikTok, but I want to know if we're sideways and not the right way.
Well, the TikTok people understand if we're
Hi, crooked. TikTok. Oh, looks like we're
all
still
right.
Sideways.
So yeah, the plantar fascia, one of those problems that can drag on for literally months or even years in some cases with having problems or any success at all. But we will show you hopefully some things you haven't tried if you're one of those
sideways.
people. Actually, I'm showing a technique that one of our viewers said he had it for over a year, tried everything, and then he attempted to use a taping technique, and that finally gave him relief. So we'll show you that. All right. So, Mike, what do you got to say?
I'm trying to adjust all these other camera angles right now.
The IT stuff is incredible. Oh, yes.
And this is not...
I don't even know what IT stands for. What is this? Northern, I wonder, above Highway 8, I wonder? Once you get above Highway 8, it's a whole nother scenario. It's a beautiful country up there. It's like going to a new country. I love it up there. All right. Anyone else? Oh, yeah. There's people from New York. Excellent. New York, or Stockholm. Excellent.
Syndrome?
Any names? Victoria. Where's she from? Philly, good. I love the steaks, Philly steaks, cheesesteak. Missouri, lovely state. The show me state, I believe, yes. Northwest Florida, that is a wonderful area. Up by the Panhandle, I wonder.
There, TikTok can see us now, and hopefully they weren't throwing up.
Kimberly, Minnesota. I wonder what part of Minnesota. She could be right down the street from us.
Can we see the comments yet, Danny, or are we not allowed? Oh, thank you.
Well,
I'll take the mouse. Okay, thank you.
We've got a guest, not a speaker, but a guest viewer today. Sam, our skeleton, is offering his leg to show the concept of how to treat plantar fascia, because a lot of times people try to just treat the foot, and that can be a problem and can actually limit your success.
Well, I guess TikTok can see Sam.
Well, don't worry, we've got 35 seconds.
We got Michelle from Texas, Beatrice from Flemington, New Jersey, farm country.
Yes.
We
Diane from
Witness
Delaware.
Fitness from Jersey.
Daryl, yes. Nice. I'm glad you're here, Daryl.
Diane's from Delaware.
Oh,
Hi, Bob and
15
Brad.
seconds,
Hi.
and we're going to get into our big program, our episode, our spectacular introduction, which
We'll say
is
hi to Bob.
incredulous.
Bob's here. He's just on camera,
Yeah,
behind the scenes.
we'll get you out there.
Oh, intro's coming in. We better be quiet.
2,
Bob
1.
and Brad, the two most famous physical therapists on the internet.
All right, we are here and live and talking about plantar fasciitis today, and we're going to go over 15 things that you can try and help to fix this problem, which bothers a lot of people.
Yeah, it is a big problem, and it's a foot problem. Once your feet start bothering you, it changes your life. As you know, you can't get around, it's uncomfortable, and it really changes, like I said, changes your life.
So we'll be going over many different tips, and then if you have any questions about plantar fasciitis, feel free to ask them. If we have time in our other foot-related problems, maybe we will get to them, but please try to stick to the subject matter at hand, because every week we try to make a large variety of options of what we're talking about.
Yeah, we don't want to stray too far. Should we talk about the big concept of plantar fasciitis?
Yeah.
This is one thing that I really want to get squared away right away in the program. Here's Sam. We got his backside, and the pink line represents not the plantar fascia, but the connective tissue, muscle, tendons, fascia that connects and relates directly to the pain in the bottom of your foot, oftentimes right here at the heel. But the tissues from the great toe or the toes all the way through the heel and up to above the knee joint. All those tissues need to be addressed, whether you're stretching or strengthening. Oftentimes, the little muscles in the foot, we're going to show you some good exercises that's going to help support that fascia that gets irritated all the time. So just remember, when we start talking about the calf, we're addressing the calf because it's directly or indirectly related to the foot pain, or when we address the great toe stretches, etc. So there we go. We'll refer back to Sam, and here you can see how things kind of relate to each other as you move your ankle. It does affect the bottom of the foot, and that's how plantar referring to plant your foot into the ground. That's what I always remember. That's the bottom of your foot. Fascia is the tissue here. Itis is inflammation of the fascia, the tissue on the bottom of the foot. And that's your anatomy lesson.
I'd like to remind anyone as you're watching live, if you missed something or want it repeated, you can just take the scroll bar and go back and rewatch any part and catch back up. But what we want to do first is talk about how to differentiate if your foot pain is actually plantar fasciitis, or perhaps you have sciatica, because it can refer all the way down into your foot. So a common thing with plantar fasciitis is you feel good when you are sitting down, resting off of your feet. You're not getting stress on that plantar fascia region on the bottom of your foot. But when you immediately stand up and you weight bear, you often start feeling pain and it hurts. Now with sciatica, it can vary, but a lot of people will actually still have pain when they're seated or sitting down because you are still putting stress on your sciatic nerve in this flexed over position like this. So that's one simple way to kind of differentiate. If you really notice a big difference, it's probably plantar fasciitis if you're standing, and possibly sciatica if you're sitting. There are some tests we do in therapy. Now, they're not 100% accurate, but one you can try is just lying down on your back, and then you lift one leg straight up, and you can mess around with plantar flexing, putting your toes down and then bringing them back up, and see if this recreates any pain in your leg. Any burning or tingling sensation could be a sign of sciatica.
Right. Particularly when you pull up and you feel some symptoms in the leg, particularly above the knee or in the back, almost certainly it's a problem with the nerve and related to sciatica. And I can't stress enough, if you're sitting and the pain in your foot gets worse, and then when you walk, it gets better, it's probably sciatica or something other than plantar fasciitis.
So the first thing we want to do is to try to work on strengthening the arch of your foot and checking out the mobility in your toe muscles, because sometimes if those are tight, they can really pull on your plantar fascia. So the first thing we want to do is actually just work on creating an arch in your foot. Now, if you are sitting or standing, I have high arches. You can see my arch right here. I don't know if you can get that on camera well enough, but you can see I have an arch here. If you have a flat foot, you're kind of rounded down. Like I can't even get my foot all the way flat. I have too high of arches. But anyway, if you have flat feet, what you want to do is actually try to create an arch and strengthen it. Now, what you can do is start just by focusing in a seated position and pushing your toes hard into the ground, especially your big toe. You can see when I'm relaxed, my arch is probably a little more flat. And when I push down, you can see my arch coming up there. So that is a way to kind of help strengthen and build up your arches if you are more flat-footed.
Yeah, so the pink is just representing focus on that part of your foot rising. Those little intrinsic muscles, we call them, are going to get strengthened as a result of that motion. You really have to focus on it, something that you usually don't do in normal life.
Yes, it's very subtle movement, but that little movement, you'd be surprised in certain people when they have foot pain or issues, how hard that can be for them.
I do want to give you a little warning. If you're doing that and you've done a number of repetitions and you get cramps, toe cramps in this part of your foot, that's going to cause things to go down. They're pretty painful. Just grab your toes and pull them back up and the cramp will go away and hold it. I would take a break from that exercise till the next day.
So the next tip, what you can do is work on flexing and extending your toes themselves. So you're going to put them straight out in front of you like this. You're just going to curl your toes down like I am.
You've got excellent range of motion.
And then you're going to extend and bring your toes up like this. So you're going to curl down and extend up and just work on your motion. Now, if you're really stiff or have problems, Brad was just kind of showing the option you can do is use your hands to help with this.
I want to look at his range of motion and his toe. I don't know if it's his age or did you work on this when you work out. Look,
I stretch a lot.
This is as far as I can go, and
that's as far as you can bend your toe.
Yeah, and you're wrapping around. You should be able to climb trees pretty good.
I got monkey feet.
Wow. So in that case, I need to actually help stretch my toe going down. And I do this, but I think I need to do it more after watching Mike's toes go to work. And then going up, I do okay. But we'll talk about stretching this because that gets that pink area that we talked about with Sam earlier. Stretch that out. Yeah, so strengthening that. Yeah.
So just doing like 10 to 20 repetitions each way. Again, you can do without your hands. You can use your hands to assist if you need it, and just make sure you're getting a nice, good stretch. That's an easy way to do it. Most people can tolerate there is a version you can do kneeling, but a lot of people find that pretty uncomfortable early on during plantar fasciitis.
Right. Now, Diane is asking, she says pain in the ball of the foot. So she's talking about this, I'm assuming, to make sure we're consistent. Usually plantar fasciitis does not present with pain here, but it could. So it's going to have to determine if you can push around here and find a tender spot. If it's more down towards the smaller toes on this side of the foot, that could be Morton's neuroma, which there's a nerve bundle in there, which I do have, and I've learned how to get rid of it very relatively easily. We do have a video on that and gives you details on what I've used to get rid of that. It'll help you out. I don't want to get into it in this video because it's off the subject. So I would look into that, Diane.
Now, the next thing we want to talk about is some type of gentle strengthening exercises you can do for plantar fasciitis, because we talked about earlier, the plantar fascia kind of wraps around, turns into the Achilles, and then runs up into the calf muscles themselves. Now, early on, if you're really tender and it hurts a lot, you may not want to do this initially, but once the pain starts getting a little bit better, even if there's some mild pain yet, I've had patients do this and they usually feel pretty good after. So we're just going to do some calf raises on a flat surface. Make sure to hold on to something for support. You can do it at a countertop, railings, whatever. And you're just going to go up on your toes, and then you're going to come back down on your heels like this. Try to do both legs early on. If, say, my plantar fasciitis is in my left foot and it's really painful to go up, maybe lean a little more to the right, putting more pressure through your right leg and letting the left leg help. And just work on calf raises that way initially. And over time, try to recenter your balance and go up and down. If you're starting to feel really good later on and it's not bothering you, you can go up with both legs. Make sure to hold on and then just go down with the painful side to strengthen it. But that's probably going to be a ways down the line. That's not going to probably happen in the first 2 weeks.
Good. Now, before we get too far, if people are in the really throes of pain and they're limping and they have a lot of tenderness, particularly at the end of the day, sometimes, are we going to talk about how to deal with that with some cold pack? Is that later on in the program?
Well, we can get to it now if you'd
Sure.
like.
So yeah, if it's painful and you just need to break, and you might do this at work or at the end of the day, get a cold pack that's soft when you pull it out of the freezer like this one. It needs to be flexible. Put that down on the floor, and I've done this. You can have your socks on, definitely not with your shoes, but your socks on would be good for a little insulation. And you can see as I put my foot in there, it compresses and it just naturally conforms to the foot and gets right on the area it needs to. Hold it there for 10-15 minutes. The cold pack warms up. The other thing you can do, I don't have an actual actually I could use this. You get like a 20-ounce soda plastic bottle that you get at the store. Take the soda, dump it down the drain. Don't drink that stuff. Fill it full of water, almost to the top, put it in the freezer the night before. And let's say if this was the bottle, which it's not, but it represents it, you're going to put that down like that. That's going to be frozen, and you simply roll back and forth. You get some mechanical benefits from the foot massage, from the pressure onto the round container, and you get the cold ice. And do that for 10 to 15 minutes. Have your sock on. It's almost too cold for me, so I make sure I have a thicker sock and work that. Good way to remedy that acute pain.
Now, another good thing to do is stretch out the calf muscles. So we kind of showed earlier how you can work on your flexion and extension in the toe, the plantar fasciitis area directly. Again, we showed you can use overpressure with your fingers to go flexion extension, but we need to stretch up the chain, which would be your calf muscles. So Brad's got his little chain there if you want to zoom in on it.
Oh yeah, so here we're talking about these tissues, muscle and tendon and everything, where we stretch up that way. We loosen these muscles up, and that'll keep stress off of the plantar fascia.
Now, there are many ways to stretch your calves. You can do them in a long sitting position. You can do them in a standing position or seated. If you're going to be in a long sitting position, you're going to need something you can reach your feet with. You can use a towel, a belt, whatever you have. And if I'm stretching my right one out, in order to stretch your calves, you have to bring your toes up towards your nose. So just loop something on there. This is just a stretch strap, and then pull up, and you can get a calf stretch that way if you struggle to do it standing or in a seated position. You can also just do it seated like this. And then if my foot was on a stool, but Brad is sitting on it at the moment, you could do it like that.
There we go.
As well, and get a good stretch that way. Now, I personally like to stand up and stretch my calves when I do it. So we can go to a wall, or we can do them on the stairs. There's lots of variations. If you're going to be standing, you probably want your shoes on so your feet don't slide too much. And Brad is going to be over by the wall, but we need to move Sam out of the way here.
Get him out of the way. Yes. By the way, Kimberly just confirmed. She says she has really good luck with pain control using the frozen water bottle that used to be a pop bottle. All right. Stretch here like this, toes straight ahead, not like this. Get like this. See if you can get your heel to the ground. Stretch that way. Gets the gastroc up higher, and then we bend the knee and stretch again. It gets the soleus muscle a little deeper, so it's a complete stretch. Do both. Hold for 15 to 30 seconds, or on and off about 10 times. There you go. Incline board really does a nice job. I like it because it's easier, and it's a little more complete. So I just stand and use your body weight. It's much easier, and I can relax. When you relax, things stretch better.
Now, you can also use the stairs if you want as an option. I got to move Sam again. He's in the way. Here, come on, Sam. Uh-oh. Are you picking up smoking again? Anyway, to do this on the steps, what you want to do is probably wear shoes, but I'm just going to show without shoes for camera purposes. You're going to stand at the edge if you're comfortable, and then just drop your heels down to the floor. Notice I'm holding on with my arms for support, because otherwise I'd tip right over. And with stretching, you normally work up to 30 seconds. You can do it 2 to 3 times. If it's very tender, you can just do 15 seconds or so to begin with. And sometimes I like to shift my body weight to one side and really stretch the right side first. And then after about 15, 30 seconds, I'll switch and stretch on the other side.
I wasn't. I was reading some comments. Did you say it's best to do that with your shoes on?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I said I'm just doing it for filming purposes, and I'm too lazy to put my shoes back on.
Oh, okay. Well, that's understandable. Brenda, she has problem with pain on the side of her feet, which I'm wondering. Just to clarify, I'm assuming she means the lateral or the outside here. That could be some plantar fascia tightness. It may be a couple other things too. So what I'm going to suggest is try some of these stretches and see how that feels with it. If it really irritates it, stop doing it. But if it feels like a good stretch, maybe a little pain at first, but it loosens up after about 5 or 10 seconds of stretching, then continue doing it and repeat that, 3 or 4 times a day. The cold pack as well, if it gets really tender or irritated by the end of the day, it gets worse, cold can always be helpful with that. So that give that a try. I hope that helps out, Brenda.
I think I have one more
What are you
strength.
going to take a nap?
Yes, one more strengthening tip of something you can work on for more of your small intrinsic foot muscles. I'm just looking for smaller stuff. But anyway, what you can do is towel scrunches. This works better on a soft or a hard surface floor, something smooth versus a carpet with this. But what you can do is actually just curl your toes. This is so thin too. I might need the actual towel.
The towel.
So what you're going to do is scrunch up, and see I'm pulling this slowly. You're working on that toe flexion, working on those small intrinsic foot muscles to try to strengthen them up. Because oftentimes if people have some type of plantar fasciitis issues, they often have weak feet as well. So sometimes just strengthening and getting those little intrinsic foot muscles moving can really help. Oh, Brad's got an actual towel for me now.
Yeah, this more appropriate. And if not on carpet too.
Yeah, you can see it's very hard for me to actually grab this now.
This is the advanced version.
On a smooth floor, it's a little bit, there we go. It's a little bit easier to do it. You can also take something small. I don't have any dice here, but you can use dice or marbles. This is a golf ball, and work on trying to pick something up. Early on, the bigger the object, the easier it will be to pick up.
Now,
like
Melody is confirming this. She said she uses, I think, marbles.
Yeah, you can do marbles. So what you normally, if you have a bunch of them, you put a little cup on the floor, pick it up, and then place them in the cup like that.
Yeah.
You can do whatever. I wouldn't do what are the other things? Jacks? Those are probably sharp.
Dice.
No, those little jacks things.
Oh,
Did you ever play jacks with the bouncy ball thing?
My mom wouldn't let me play jacks.
Yeah, those are
Anyways.
probably too sharp. You want something round, or dice are fine because they're square. And
If
you
you
can
ever
just work
stepped on a jack, you'd know why with bare feet.
Don't use Legos. They probably hurt. I'm just letting you know now.
Now, with your toe range of motion, you could probably win a lot of games.
Can
with
you pick that up?
I don't want to touch. Oh, I got to touch that. I got it.
You got it.
Ooh.
Oh, it's not too bad.
It's, yeah. Ooh.
You need to work on your great toe flexion. Well, that's
All right.
cheating. I think we'll take a look at some of the questions here. Brad, if you want to start getting some of the things ready for our next part of massaging.
Yeah, actually, I can't remember. I'm sorry. The name with pain on the side of the foot. Some massage in there might be very helpful as well. Anyways, let's
Brenda said that.
Brenda, I'm sorry, Brenda. My mind is just, the memory has been slipping for the last decade or so.
So the water bottle really helps.
Oops, I gotta go in front
Whispering
of you.
Spirit Studio says, hi, what are we doing? We're talking about plantar fasciitis today, which some people's cases is actually plantar fasciosis, which we'll get to later in the video, but there's some research on that as well. Gene says, I hate toe cramps. Yes, they don't feel good, especially when you're walking. You gotta sit down and stretch them out. And yes, all this will be replayed on YouTube. You can watch it anytime. Plus, we have how many videos on plantar fasciitis?
327. No, we don't have that many, but I think we do have a playlist, which makes it a little easier to access. But they know if they Google bobandbrad.com, or not .com, but on YouTube.
Yes, with all these stretches, obviously go with what mobility feels good for you. Do not force it. If you're starting to get cramps, back off a little bit and then start it again later. Just take your time. Eventually, the muscles will want to move again. They're not used to that range of motion and being shortened and elongated, so it kind of takes some time,
Right.
especially if you have really tight feet.
Now, you wanted to address the foot massage area of the plantar fascia.
Yes, we're going to talk about massaging the foot itself.
So I'll remember which camera to look at this time, I think. Anyways, I washed my feet today and scrubbed them really good so that I could work with you and no one would get grossed out, but you can see what I'm doing is you check your feet out, see how mobile the forefoot, you should have mobility like this. And if you don't work it, and even if you do, it's good for maintenance just to start out with your foot massage, and then you can work your toes down, stretch up, especially the great toe, the big toe. Did you know it's called the great toe?
Because it's great.
Yeah, because some people, their middle toe is bigger than their big toe, so you got to
Mine's pretty close.
anatomically, you've got to give it a distinct name. So it's the great toe. Now, the massage typically is from the ball of the foot, the forefoot, down to the heel. That plantar fascia is in there. The pain oftentimes by the heel again. And my favorite way is to use my thumbs, push in the middle, and the splaying technique where you pull apart and you pull apart. Now you really need to get aggressive. You need to get so aggressive that after a few minutes, your thumbs get tired. Then you know you've gone hard enough. If you got a tender spot and it actually hurts, it makes you jump a little bit, stay away from that. Work around it. Get up into the heel and work that fascia. Now, this is going to help break up any scar tissue, particularly if you've had pain for weeks or months on end. There's more than likely scar tissue that we need to break up, get things realigned so it stretches appropriately, as well as increase circulation, which is critical, as we'll talk about with the plantar fasciosis, which is a little different, but the pain is similar.
Now, another way you can massage the bottom of your foot is with a ball. You can use a massage ball. They come in different shape sizes. You can use a golf ball, a tennis ball, whatever you have around the house. Obviously, the softer the ball, the less aggressive it'll be. So a tennis ball is not very aggressive. Maybe beneficial for early stages of plantar fasciitis when you're really painful or sore. You can mess around with the arch of your foot, the outside, just push down. You're going to have a lot of give with a tennis ball. These other balls, some of them have spikes even, or little nodules. This just helps get a little more aggressive in there. I personally don't know if I love this really spiky one. There are some with little nodules on it, which I have at home, which work really well for me personally. And you can just kind of massage in that area as well, do the same concept Brad was showing. But those are some pretty inexpensive ways to kind of start working on the bottom of your feet.
Yeah, I did want to also say I did the splaying technique. The other one is just, I like to work circles anywhere in there. Get in there.
Yeah, you can't really splay with a ball. It's just rolling.
Right.
Obviously, the more pressure you push down into your foot, the more aggressive it is going to feel on the bottom of your foot. So you can just do that for 3 to 5 minutes. You can work up to 10 if it feels good. If you don't like using these techniques, or you happen to have a massage gun, you can certainly use a massage gun, gun, or even a foot massager is a good option too. So we have a few, we can just show how to do it. Obviously, if you have a very large aggressive gun, it may not feel the best. So if you happen to have a smaller one, it could be a good option.
I just want to mention too, as far as the stretching, the massage and that type of thing, before you get out of bed, if you have those symptoms of pain when you stand up initially after sleeping all night, doing some stretching while lying in bed on your back and some massage can be a really good thing to get things loosened up, get some circulation in there so that when you stand up, it decreases that initial pain and get things moving so that things work out better and you get on the right track.
Now, I've had mild bouts of plantar fasciitis at times from running, and oftentimes when I have it, I will not go directly on the painful spot. Mine was always right here, so I would kind of work around it. And notice I'm not putting the head directly into the bottom of my foot. I'm kind of doing a side angle with a nice soft ball head. Usually after a few minutes of this area becomes desensitized so it can handle more pressure. Then I'll start going directly over the region and just kind of massaging. You can use a round head for this. You can use a air head, which is also not very aggressive. I'm holding it. Oh, sorry, Tanner. Oh, you're moving. You can also use an air head like this. It's cushioned and filled with air and rubberized, so often doesn't hurt. And some of our massage guns even come with a hot and cold head option, depending upon the model, which are normally our Pro series, which you can use, but obviously if it's really sensitive, this might be a little too aggressive early on, but over time, if it settles down, the nice option is they actually are rechargeable, and you can have 2 options of cold setting or 2 options of heat, and both can work. Personally, you just kind of see what you react to the best, whether it's cold or heat.
I think that one is probably more useful on the calf when you start massaging the calf muscle. Then you
Ooh, it
can
is
get that
warming up.
hot or cold.
Yeah, we should say massaging the calf muscle is very important as well, because if that's tight, like we talked about earlier, it's going to play directly into your plantar fasciitis.
That's right. And using, should I go to the calf now?
You can go to the calf.
The round head is one of my favorites. Getting into the calf, if you massage the calf by hand or with a massage gun, you'll probably find an area that's tight, and along with tightness, it's a little more tender. That's the area you want to work to get that knot. You actually have a muscle that's knotted up, and it's that way, and it probably stays that way chronically, and that's part of the problem. So you're going to work that area. So let's say this is the area that's knotted on me. I'm not going to go directly in with the massage gun. Now, these reciprocate, so they're more aggressive. They work the best for this kind of thing. But I like to start out going sideways if it's too tender, because sometimes going like this is going to make you jump off the chair. Too aggressive, work around it or go sideways with the round head.
We just want to mention that massager you're using is the M7, and it's only available in the UK. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, we did have someone from the UK.
And
here,
our A7, the blue one Brad has there, is also available in the UK, but we have a pro model in the US.
I think it's coming out in a week or two.
Yeah, the pro model is.
Yeah. So this head is a really nice head specifically for the calf. You might be able to work on the plantar, but let's get this thing going here. Ooh, there we go.
Yeah, and you see how right there.
It wraps right around, so you get a broad area of the muscle, and you can work it down, or you can see I can work it up. If you got swelling or blood flow, you're going to want to work it this direction. You know, if you have fragile skin, or any kind of injury or anything like that, you're not going to use the massage gun around that area. It's going to irritate. It's only for healthy skin and that type of thing. So use really good judgment. Don't irritate anything that's obvious.
Camera focus is a little fuzzy. It's probably our internet trying to live stream this.
Oh, yes.
We've been trying to work on that, Susan, compared to the pre-filmed videos. But anyway, massaging is a good option. You can try. Now, if you don't want to do this and you just want to use a foot massager, Brad has that right next to him, actually.
Oh, yeah, this is one of those things where you don't have to put any effort, with the exception of putting your feet into the massager. This has mechanical massage that roll on the bottom of your feet. There's compression.
There's heat.
That heats up.
My favorite part.
There you go, heat. So if you have swelling in your feet and you want to get some circulation moving up, it can be helpful for that. This one actually has 2 sets of controls, the remote or down here. This is nice because you don't have to bend over. Some people may be uncomfortable with that, so you can get it going with this and adjust the heat, the compression, as well as the massage to your comfort level. 15 minutes or so will be good. You can go longer if you'd like to.
If these solutions don't help the most, we actually are going to talk about how to use K-tape on the bottom of your foot, and a taping technique Brad can show. But I know you had some footage from old videos with Bob in it. When do you want to bring those in? I wasn't sure.
Well, where are we at with that, Danny? I can't. You got it? Yeah, let's show one of those. I think. Uh-oh. We got it. We're in an awkward moment, which is what.
So we're gonna. So. Would this be a good time to go into that?
Yeah, but first, actually, Bob is going to put some good information on this in relation to plantar fasciitis, chronic plantar fasciitis with his daughter. He'll talk to you about it, and it's gone on for months or even a couple years, and he actually solved the problem. So go ahead, Danny. Let's get it right from Bob's mouth.
Now, my daughter complained of foot pain for years, but she lived out in Washington.
Yeah.
So I couldn't help her.
Right.
But she finally moved back, thank God. And I looked at her for 20 seconds and I figured out what the problem was.
Right.
And
did you go visit her?
I did once, but we didn't, visit.
Wow. Yeah. Vacation. You don't worry about foot pain.
Her answer is in the 5th question. So you want to stick around for the 5th question. What was it that I changed in her and I saw in 20 seconds.
And she was grateful.
And she was grateful, yeah, and it worked.
Okay, so it works better if I turn my
It might
mic
help
on.
a little bit.
All right, so we're talking about pain, and actually, we should pull one of those massage guns out again because it relates. It doesn't matter which.
Here,
one.
have a red one.
Yeah, the red one's nice. Yeah, so and that Bob's talking about. He assessed the range of motion, and he found out that when she dorsiflexed like this, one foot. Well, let's do it long sitting because I have a feeling that's what he did. And you pull up, and let's say that this is the difference. This foot goes up to here. This one clearly doesn't. But if you pull it, it moves and it stretches here, saying that, oh, we got a tight calf muscle. Now, Bob immediately realized the problem and decided this is how he's going to fix it. Now, hold on one second.
What are you holding on for? Are we ready to go to the next clip? Yeah. Oh, we'll go to the next clip, Danny.
So number 5, this is the big question. What did my daughter have? So I took a look at her and I saw right away she had tight calf muscles. If your muscles are tight in your calf, the motion has to come from somewhere. So if you're tight here, you're going to have more stress on your foot.
Right.
I know that's kind of hard to understand. But
well, we talked about before when we put the tape on,
right.
The tissues here are connected here, which are connected to here. So from here to here, everything is connected in a chain.
Yeah, I could just see by how far her foot it went up. One side went up much further than the other. But the big indicator was we tried to have her take the massage gun and massage the calf, and it was really tender. I mean, super tender. And she kept doing the massage over a period of several weeks, and her foot pain went away.
And we're back.
There you go. So as he explained there, that the massaging, and I've had a couple other people that seems like more higher, closer towards the knee, but you can massage anywhere. But I had one gentleman having foot pain with running, 60 years old, and like Sarah, long-term problem. He started the massage gun, and he said he worked it laterally, so it was actually on the outside, but up in here, and it really took away his ankle and foot pain just because of tightness here. So it's amazing how one thing's connected to the other, and you need to address sometimes far away from where the pain is. So there we go.
Now we want to start talking about K-taping.
Is that like L or B taping?
Almost. It's a little beyond, the other alphabet letters. Anyway, so what you're going to do is you need some type of tape that is known as K-tape or Kinesio tape. This is just Rock Tape brand. There's plenty of other options out there, but the tape is stretchy in comparison to normal tape, so it won't really work with standard tape. You do need something with a little bit of play to it.
Right.
Plus, you can get fun colors.
Right. You don't have to use K-tape, Kinesio tape, stretchy tape. There's other ones where you use athletic tape. That's usually not as good, but there's special tape for it. I think this is probably the cheaper and easiest for the layperson to learn. That's why I chose this type of taping. But you will see, we've shown other types as well as our channel, and you'll see it other places as well. So here we go. Now we're going to, just like we showed on Sam before, we're actually going to tape from just below the toe, and we're going to put a piece of tape across here with a little stretch on it to help support the arch, and then we're going to come all the way up just below the knee. So here I have my piece of K-tape. Really important, after you wash your foot, wash your leg all the way up, you can take some isopropyl alcohol with a cotton swab. You want to make sure it's clean and all the oils of your skin are off so that it lasts longest. I've had this stuff go 2 to 3 days before it starts coming off. On the foot, if you perspire a lot, you may have a shorter time, but I've taken mine swimming because I swim a few days a week, and it's amazing how well it holds up. So you don't try and pick away at this, you pull and rip. There we go, and it takes the protective side right off, and There we go. You can see I'm going to pull. There we go. Comes off really easy, and you can control it, and you can see the stretch. Here's 100% stretch, about 50%. Now, we're going to start here at the ball of the foot, no stretch at all. For about an inch, no stretch. Okay, we're going to come back, and we're going to set this in later. I'll show you how to do that. Now we're going to pull, put your finger on there, pull 100%. And then we're going to go actually about 75% here. So there's still stretch on there, and press it down right over the plantar fascia, over the heel. And then we're coming around the heel, pull it all the way off. Now I've got it a little bit long, but that's okay, because you're not going to, after you do it, you'll know better on what length to cut it. And make sure you cut it rounded here, so that just makes it last longer, because if it's a square corner, it tends to peel there and comes off sooner. So I'm going to pull 100%, going to back off about 50 to 75%, push it down, and here. Now I would cut this off, or I'm not worried about it. I'm going to put it up here for now. That's all right, Mike. But yeah, you can put it down if it's too long. It doesn't hurt anything. Then this is the important one, the really important one. Now, when you do that, you have your foot at about a 90 here. In other words, like this. Don't do it with your foot plantar flexed. I should have mentioned that earlier. So before you put this on, your foot will stay in this neutral position as if you're standing. Okay, now we take this one, pull. It's a little bit shorter, about 6 inches long. Start out down here, okay, without any stretch. This one, you're going to pull a little tighter, at least 75%. So there's 100%, and just back off a little bit, and you're going to come up just in front, right on that arch. Keep pulling, and then when you have an inch left to put on, take the pressure off, and that anchors the tape. Now, it's really important, once you get it on there, that you take one of these that has nothing on it. Go on one side, you're going to rub, it's going to stick. The other side is going to slip. Okay, it's the back side, and you're going to set it. So you have to rub on it all over for 30 seconds. So 30 seconds on the bottom of the foot, 30 seconds around the top. I'm going to go through it fast. You don't have to do it. And then up and down here for 30 seconds. And that sets it so it stays the longest, and you want that. Yeah, there we go. Feels kind of good.
Diane did mention that she tried K-tape, but it gave her a blister and popped when she took off the tape. So if you do have sensitive skin, it's good to be aware of that. Maybe not wear it as long, or maybe make sure you can try it if your skin is really sensitive or even tears easily. And also maybe not wear it as long. You can try wearing it for so many hours or maybe a day, take it off, see how your skin reacts. Different people will react differently to different tapes because adhesives within the tape are different. I said a lot of difference there.
Yeah.
But
the K-tape, they make it specifically so it's hypoallergenic. In other words, for the majority of people, they won't be allergic to it, but there's still you'll know it gets red, and you're just not a candidate for taping if that's the case.
Now, Triska brought up a good point. My podiatrist decades ago, while working at job where I was on my feet all the time. Oh, no, sorry. I read the wrong one. It moved on me. My podiatrist had me do calf stretches and a foot brace at night, which is what I just put on because we were going to talk about it, but I think this is a good time now.
Sure.
So, and it helped with my tight calf muscles from turning into my foot, really helped, and so did massaging. So we talked about massaging. We talked about stretching. Now, stretching is good for the calf muscles because it directly connects to your plantar fascia. However, most stretches we do 30 to 60 seconds in a day, where if you're wearing something, this is called a night brace. So what you do is you wear it at night when you are sleeping. This is just Mars Wellness brand. We found it on Amazon. They're not that expensive. You can get up and move around in them. Say you have to get up and use the bathroom or something. It's not going to hurt, but you don't really want to wear this as like a walking boot per se. So what it does is when you're laying down sleeping, most people, if I'm showing my right foot here, if you're lying on your back, your normally going to plantar flex like I am, meaning your toes are pointing down like this. This is going to shorten my calf muscles here, where Brad is pointing out, which is going to not be stretching them. So instead of keeping in this position, the night brace keeps you in a nice neutral position. Now, these aren't super tight where I'm getting a calf stretch and it hurts and I can't stand it. It's just keeping it in a nice 90-degree angle. You can adjust how much, Brad is showing there, how much torque or pull you have on it. The nice thing about this brace is it doesn't get aggressive. I still don't feel a stretch, and we haven't maxed out, which is what you want. Because when you wake up in the middle of the night after wearing this for 2, 4, 6, 8 hours, your calf will feel it and you'll be a little tight. If you can't fall back asleep, obviously just take it off. Sometimes people will put it on when they wake up in the middle of the night, so their foot is stretched out when they wake up in the morning.
If you woke up and it was tight, I suppose you could
loosen
it up, and that may help.
Yeah, and you also want to make sure these straps are also adjustable here. You just don't want to have too tight because it's just going to pinch in there. You want it to be comfortable while you're sleeping.
Now, Mike's talking from personal experience. So
yeah, I've never worn it all night. I think I did one time, but it does kind of help if you're having some plantar fasciitis flare-ups. You don't have to wear it the rest of your life, but it is a good option just to get a
I like the idea of setting your alarm for like 3, 4 in the morning, get up, so that when you wake up, it's still on, and it may be a little more helpful with that initial weight bearing when you get out of bed.
Well, I'm not going to set an alarm to wake up, but if you want to go ahead.
Well, of course, I usually get up to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I do. That's what
natural...
I just know I'm too lazy to put it on in the middle of the night when I'm sleepy.
So you may, if you're wearing this, or if you're not, when you wake up in the morning, you would take this off, massage the bottom of your foot with your hands or the massage gun, do some range of motion exercises, do some, show on this, plantar flexion, ankle pumps. There we go. Get that to get the tissues warm, get everything moving with any means you can. That's very easy before you stand up. It can make a tremendous difference, because what happens if you're like this all night long, the tissues, not only in the calf, but in the plantar tissue here, they all tighten up, and you stand on it, but wait really quick. Then the tissues can actually re-tear, irritating it, and it makes the whole cycle last over. Then you get this chronic problem.
Sky said you could try a yoga strap, hook your foot, extend your knee, sit long. Oh, yeah, we kind of showed calf stretches earlier in the video. So if you just want to rewind it, we showed that exactly with the strap.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
It is earlier in the video.
Thanks, Sky.
All right. Now, our next tip, I need to scroll down. Oh, so our next handful of tips actually come from our friend Rick Olderman, who is a physical therapist. And now looking at the plantar fasciitis and calf can definitely help early on, but sometimes the weak link that is causing these issues is actually further up the chain. So it could be from your knee or your hips. It can kind of work either way. Sometimes people have foot ankle issues, which lead to hip pain. Sometimes people have back or hip issues, which can lead down to foot pain. So we're going to show you some important strengthening and stretches you can try and do that could be causing down the chain link into plantar fasciitis issues.
Right. So, for example, if you have a weak hip and it's causing you to do this Trendelenburg, this waddle walking, that can actually put stress on the plantar fascia, because that foot pronates, and this is getting kind of complicated in the weeds a little bit, but that can help cause a plantar fasciitis. So you can treat the foot, but if you keep having the weak hip, it never goes away. So this is good for that.
And some people may not be even as exaggerated as Brad was. It may be very minute and hard to see, but imagine walking your whole life that way. You have that type of muscle imbalance. It's going to lead to issues somewhere in your body, and it could be taking the brunt of it in your foot.
So what are the exercises?
So the first one we want to do is address if you have tight hip muscles. Oftentimes people have tight hip flexors. So the hip flexor is in the front of your hip. You have three of them, three, sort of three. What they do is they flex your hip up like this. Now, when you are sitting all day long, they get shortened because they are tight. You're in this position for how many hours a day? So we want to stretch them out. There are many ways to stretch them. However, some people are uncomfortable kneeling down. So we're going to show you how to test if they're tight, and then you can just stay in the same position and stretch them while you're there. So you're going to go to the end of your bed, countertop, table, whatever you're comfortable getting on. If you're on your bed, just make sure your edge is firm enough so you don't fall off of it, because some mattresses are soft. You may need to put a pad underneath your buttock, which I have done at my house when my mattress is soft. You want to give me one of those pads?
Yes, I do.
So if you have some type of firm pad, I don't think you want a plywood, but you can put something under your butt at least so the edge is a little bit firmer so you don't slide off. We have a firm table here, so I'm not going to use that. So you're going to get your butt to the edge as far as you possibly can comfortably. You're going to bring both knees to your chest. If I'm testing my left one, I'm going to drop it off the edge here. Then I'm going to bend my knee, and I'm keeping a straight line here. Now you're going to bring your opposite leg up towards your chest like this, and you'll see I have a little bit of pull here. Try to keep it down. If you are getting neutral or beyond neutral, you're okay. If you're really tight, you may be somewhere up here or even up here. That way you know your hip flexor is tight, and you can just stretch it in the same position, letting gravity take over. Now, if it's super tight and bending your knee really hurts, you may just have to start up here with your knee a little straighter and just hold it for 15 to 30 seconds. Make sure to breathe. And then you're going to do the other side, and you can do both sides 2 to 3 times. And you'll probably notice one side feels tighter than the other. So just spend a little more time on that side.
Can you stay there, Mike? Just because some people may not be familiar with the term neutral, let's stretch this one or assist this one. If he's completely relaxed and his knee goes to here, and that's not neutral. Neutral is everything is in line from knee to hip to here. And actually a normal hip, a healthy hip, the knee will be down a little bit. So that's what we're looking for. If this one's normal and then we pull this one up and this one only drops down to here, significant difference, very tight hip on that side. It's probably causing other problems than just plantar, or will cause other problems.
Now, if you have issues getting on your bed, or this feeling safe, or you feel like you're going to fall off, which I've had some patients feel like that, I'll maybe, if they're really tight, just have them start laying like this and then just drop off to this side of the mattress and then work on knee bending. Oftentimes you can at least put your foot on the ground so you feel stable. Obviously, the more your buttock is off the mat, the more stretchier you'll feel. But some people early on, this is all I do because they can't even get their foot to the ground. So you can try that if you're really tight, but try to progress to the other way. If you want more aggressive stretches, you can just look up hip flexor stretches. There's tons of options. Now, after testing for a tight thigh, what we want to do is see if your hip abductor muscles are weak. So the abductors are on the side of your hip here. You have your glute medius and glute minimus right here. And in order to test if they are strong, you can just try standing on one leg. And if you notice you kind of lean to one way or the other, you may have some weakness there, as long as it's not just your balance making you fall over. So we're going to strengthen these hip abductors. You can do this numerous ways. Again, a nice easy one is to stand. I'm just looking for something to grab onto. If you're really weak, you can hold on to a countertop railing, stick, walker, whatever you use. Hold on for upper extremity support and then just kick out to the side. Go as far as you comfortably can. Notice my toes are straight ahead. They're not turning out like this because that's a different muscle group. And my leg that is standing, I'm not locking out. I'm having a slight bend in my knee. And I'm going to do 10 to 15 reps on one side. And then I'm going to switch and perform this on the other side. If you're doing this and this seems really easy, a simple way to make it more challenging is put a cuff weight on your foot. You can do a boot, a heavy snow boot can work. If you happen to have some form of resistance bands, little loop bands, they can be large loop bands. And then you're just going to put them around your ankles, and you can do the same thing. And this is going to make it a lot more challenging. Most people don't realize in order to stand up straight, I'm working the same muscle group. So you do one side, it's fatigued, then you're going to switch the other side, and it's still going to be working. So it's rather challenging to do this in a standing position. What are you doing there? Taking notes?
Yeah, because I want to respond to some of these, and they move. So if I write them down, I can respond because I may have some good
Would you like to respond to them now, or should I go on to the next one?
No, we better respond now. I want to talk to, where's Sandra? There she is.
Sandra's right there. She says,
okay, Sandra, now if I understand, you're talking about, you're saying that pain at the top of the heel. So it's not so much down here, but maybe more up here on top of the heel. I have a feeling you may have tendonitis of the Achilles tendon where it attaches to the heel bone. That's very common, and the treatment for that is going to be a little different. I don't want to get into it here because it's not related to plantar, but if you search Bob and Brad and Achilles tendonitis or heel pain, you'll find some videos that specifically address that, and I think that'll be very helpful. And then Gerald, I'm sorry, he's talking about a sudden onset. He went to Disney. This is very common for getting plantar to get started, where you do something different, a lot of walking, particularly on concrete, that type of thing, stresses the foot. The type of footwear you have makes a difference too. We'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, it's not uncommon to have a sudden onset from something different in your lifestyle for a weekend or a few days like that. So try these exercises and treatment that we're doing, whether it's a massage, a stretching. And so anyways, I just want to make you feel better. Or
Now,
maybe not.
we did get a question earlier about stretching the toes, and they're struggling with it because they had a bunion. So if you had some type of long-term type foot deformity, whether it's a bunion where your big toe is going in, or maybe you have a hammer toe, this can definitely affect your foot shape and size and how it reacts to the ground when you're walking and standing. So it's important to try to address those issues as well, because they can lead to plantar fasciitis or heel spurs. Now, we are going to be talking about toe spacers in a little while, so we'll be addressing that, and footwear as well, because a lot of that can impact your bunions and how much issue you are having. Because if this is going in hard, it's going to be not too easy to flex and extend your big toe.
Should we talk about that now, the footwear?
Well, I got a couple more Rick tips I want to get to, and then we'll go to footwear.
I know, but we might run out of time.
Oh,
here,
we'll
Mike,
go fast.
I'm concerned.
So the last area we want to address while doing from Rick is your glute max or your buttock muscles. Now, a lot of people probably can't kneel down and do this, but I'll show this version. I'll quickly go into standing. So you're going to go on your elbows and your knees, and you're going to do glute pumps. Now, I'm not going to do the full range of motion like this. I'm going to kind of just go in the middle range here. I'm going to turn my foot in a little more to isolate the glute max, and then I'm going to do some pumps. I'm going to do 30. I don't want the full motion. I just want part range.
Wow, this is the range of what I'm telling you.
So I'm going to do 30 repetitions. You can do 3 sets of 10, 2 sets of 15, however you need to get there. Make sure to do the other side. If you struggle to get on your hands and knees, you can certainly stand up at a countertop or against the wall and do the exact same thing.
Ooh,
where you're just
leaning. Going to show? I usually do this, but
you want to be in a hurry right now.
There
so you can lean forward like this and do the same option. If you're feeling your glute engaging a lot, you can certainly put your foot back like this and just do it this way. But oftentimes, this is a simple way to strengthen your glutes up.
Yeah, and glute strength or weakness actually is a common problem, not only for promoting and help influencing plantar fasciitis, but back pain and other symptoms in the knee and the hip. So that's a good exercise that's going to help you out with other problems as well.
Now, another thing to look at is your walking pattern. If you are constantly in pain, especially when walking with your plantar fasciitis, maybe try to change your walking pattern, which I will just talk about briefly. So most people, when they walk, they're doing a heel strike like this. Notice this is putting a lot of impact forces into my ankle, calf, goes up the chain, but also it stresses my plantar fascia out a little bit. So what you can do is try to take smaller steps and just land with a flat foot like this. Notice if when you're walking too, you can work on pushing your toe into the ground to try to create that arch as well to help strengthen your feet. Now, if you're wearing normal shoes with an elevated heel and a narrow toe box, you're not going to be getting this option because your footwear is kind of messing up your walking pattern. So try walking around in your house first in socks or barefoot, and just try to take smaller steps and see how your foot feels with it. Over time, this will start to be more natural. I personally switched my walking pattern and I haven't had any issues since, but you will have to look at your footwear long term and look at something called zero drop or wide toe box shoes. There's hundreds of brands. There's lots of variations in prices.
There's not hundreds.
There's a lot. But just find a pair you like and try them out if you find this beneficial. Brad's wearing some right now.
I do want to say this 4-foot walking, the soft knee, as Rick calls it, where you're going down with your 4 foot first as opposed to this. I've got a friend right now with chronic plantar fasciitis. And when he changes to forefoot walking, he has pain, pain, pain. And then when he switches, oh, that feels better. That feels better. Clear sign that that is going to help. It's not easy to change overnight. It takes time
You
and
gotta
practice.
slow down your walking speed. So don't go on your walking dates with friends. Also, a cheap option are Crocs.
There you go. And this
Crocs are wide toe box, zero drop.
You don't have to get the camouflage. They got pretty colors as well, but
You won't even have feet when you
this-
wear those.
Yeah, I wear these out. They're wide forefoot, which is very helpful for particular plantar fasciosis, so you get better circulation. But for other problems as well, bunions, we've got a lot of videos that talk about that in detail with Dr.
Ray McClanahan,
Ray-
who's a podiatrist, so we're
Yeah.
not just making all this stuff up.
He's an expert with excellence. Oh, what do you got there?
Now, so what I want to do is show you the difference between a normal shoe and some type of wide toe box shoe. So this is a normal shoe. You can see how the toe box gets narrowed in there. And then this is a wide toe box
Ooh.
shoe. So your foot has room to expand. So this can help prevent issues like bunions, hammer toe, even plantar fasciitis, because oftentimes what people don't realize is plantar fasciitis could possibly be plantar fasciosis, which is from a study which Ray McClanahan talks about all the time, meaning the blood supply in your plantar fascia runs along the inside of your foot here. And if you are getting a lot of pressure and your toes squeeze in, you can actually be cutting off some of the blood supply that gets into the plantar fasciitis. So plantar fasciosis means necrotic or dying tissue. So you're actually not getting enough blood supply in there and the tissue is slowly dying. So getting something like toe spacers and wide toe box shoes could possibly help.
Here's some of my toe box.
I want to mention that
What are you looking for?
not all zero drop shoes are super skinny like this. You can buy ones with lots of cushioning.
Right.
It just means your heel and your forefoot is the same height off the ground.
Right. But make sure you get the wide toe box. It's not real stylish yet, but I'm sure after enough people start buying these, helps their foot problems and helps their feet feel better as well as their toes. It's going to be not long, and these are going to be very popular.
Now, these are my zero drop shoes. These were like $45. They're just Witten from Amazon. I just wear these for walking and everyday activities, but see how much more cushion there is on these compared to these, but they're still both zero drops. So.
I'm glad you brought that up, Mike, because now I know you care.
Now,
I'm getting tired.
toe spacers can work too if you have issues where your toe is scrunching up like this. So you can buy cheaper ones from Amazon. They're fine, but you can normally just only sit in them. You can't really walk or stand in them. So
They don't fit inside a shoe very well.
No. So these are correct toes. Actually, Ray McClanahan and his friend made these. So you can put them on. I have pretty good toe spacing right now because I've been working on this stuff, but you fit them in like this, and then you can actually put little pieces in the ends if you're really struggling to get that toe back out where it needs to be. And you can put your socks over this and then put them in a shoe, or you can wear toe socks as well and put them over the toes parts. But my dad actually uses these at 70 some years old, and he's been wearing them, and it's been helping his foot pain. So he still has a bunion. It's not going to fix your bunion if you're older, but it can help it from getting worse. Are you going to look at some questions, Brian?
Yeah, I'm looking at one. We got Beatrice. She was wondering what type of shoes, and you mentioned it. Witten, Whitten, I think is how.
Whitin.
And they're a good price. These are
Merrill's.
Merrill's. They're more for running. They're tougher. They last longer if you're running. Yeah, they're expensive. So look around. It's get the cheaper ones to start out with and just see how you respond.
Yeah.
You don't want to, if you've got normal shoes with higher heels that almost all of them do, and you go to zero drop, don't start wearing the zero drop 8 hours or 10, 12 hours a day right away. You have to break your feet into them. In other words, wear them 1 or 2 hours to start with, and then go back to your old shoes. It may take a few weeks to actually convert so that you can wear these shoes comfortably, but it's one of those things that's worth it. As a matter of fact, Dr. McClanahan, he requires, one of the requirements is his foot pain problems. They have to get wide toe boxes and zero drop shoes as part of their treatment, or you're not going to get treated.
Yeah, he does surgeries too, because sometimes, issues have progressed so much they can't be fixed without it. But he makes them get toe spacers in my toe box shoes later. I wear Ultras, ALTRA. They're more running shoe too, but they're expensive, but they're nice. There's Zero, XERO. There's so many other brands. So we don't really have any big connection with any brands, but they're all pretty decent from my experience.
The selling point for Dr. McClanahan is he talks about his surgeries, the number of foot surgeries he personally does has dropped significantly with this type of treatment.
And Sandy Reed asked about exercises. Yes, Sandy, you can rewind the video live even or rewatch it later. It'll stay on YouTube. We went over a bunch of stretches and exercises you can try for plantar fasciitis. Oftentimes, you don't want to do exercises right away because that's pretty painful, but you can certainly do stretching.
Well, we're getting to the end here. We do want to mention next week we're going to talk about hand, wrist, and elbow pain and treatments for that. So tell your friends, get it on the news. Make sure that, if you work for one of the big channels, make sure you tell everyone.
They want to see someone else.
What?
They want to see someone else.
Oh, Bob's
on camera. Bob's
he
here.
Needs some attention because he's more important than us, that's for sure.
Well, his name is first.
Yeah, that's true. There's no doubt about it. Wow.
Yeah, you can wave the TikTok too, Bob.
Fingers, hands, wrist, and elbow we're talking about next week. We got some elbow, wrist stretches and strengthening that's coming from some of our best sources in the past. We're going to go through that and much more, just like the foot. I wish we could go on for another hour.
I want to mention the TikTok because they're asking us to repeat some of the stuff. All this is staying on our YouTube channel at Bob and Brad. Go to the live section. It'll be there. You can replay it as much as you want. So the review the tape technique will be there so you can watch it again.
Yeah, TikTok. You don't have to wear pink tape. You could wear blue or red. They got some colorful stuff. It's very, very appealing to even the younger crowd.
Now, you can rewatch this anytime if you're on Facebook, YouTube, or TikTok. It'll stay on our YouTube channel long term. And Brad said we'll be back next week at 10 a.m. Central Time again. Is there anything else?
Well, Beatrice is saying hi to Bob. So Beatrice is very grateful, and she's saying hi. So thanks, Beatrice. We appreciate it. Sandy, okay,
thank you everyone for watching. Beatrice is there every week. I noticed that name.
She's a
Thank
regular.
you for coming back. We appreciate it.
There you go. I gotta get a drink of my.
Yeah, we're thirsty. All right, I think we're ending this.
Yeah, and once again, this is the big point I want you to spread to everyone across the nation. We can fix just about anything except for
a broken heart, but the plantar fascia definitely is going to help.
Yeah, it's part of the problem. And once we get this figured out, the broken heart thing, we are going to be worldwide famous, and we're going to be on even big shows like Dick Van Dyke or whatever it is.
I don't think he's around anymore, but good to know.
I like them though. Anyways, take care.